kick it.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the
girls' room.
We are down Megan today, but she will be back for our next episode. Do not worry. Today, we have decided to talk about games that shaped our young lives, and thankfully, as the millennials, we were really the first generation to come into computers being mainstream. Video games obviously started back in, 70s and 80s, but I also think they really ramped up during our childhood. So there was plenty for us to cover today. I will start us off with more of the educational side of gaming because I absolutely loved that computer labs became a norm in my childhood. Like,
Best day
it
ever
was
when we went to the computer lab.
best day
Yes.
ever. So I had a couple that I'll lump together that were educational games. The first one is they had two different versions. They had numbers and words. Did you guys ever play Number Munchers and Word
Yes.
Munchers?
I never played word
gosh.
munchers, but I had number munchers on my list.
It was so much fun. I think it was at the very beginning of the 90s. And it was all about you moved your little green, it was like a little green muncher monster
on the
and
legs.
then you would just move it around to like match words or match numbers. It would give you things like prime numbers, find all the prime numbers, or like different vowel sounds, and it's like find all the words that have this vowel sound. I tore it up, absolutely tore it up, loved it.
That with math blasters.
That
I was gonna say
I was about
Math
to add.
Blasters and Treasure Math Storm. I think I was more of a Treasure Math Storm girly with the it was like the snowstorm one with like these flying snowball things. Yeah.
I think that was the last time I enjoyed math was Math Blasters. Like
Probably.
I was like, oh, let's play Math Blasters. Now I'm like, math, no thank you. I will use the little computer that is always on my person.
I had a trivia question the other night at our holiday party, and it was like, in the 12 days of Christmas, how many gifts was it? Because there's 12, then there's 11, then there's 10. Like by the end, how many gifts was it? And we're all like, I'm with a bunch of engineers, and we're like 12 plus 11. It felt like that scene in Clue. It's like 1 plus
1
2 plus
2
1
plus
1
1
plus
1.
Yeah, I am neurodivergent, but I got the like social studies and literature version of it. Math and science were not for me, but if you wanted to talk about books or historical time periods,
sign me up.
All over it. But yeah, those are my three I grouped together for our educational games. I, like we said, computer lab, I was like, get me in there, let's go. I guess the other one I would add on there, which was technically created in the 80s, but they started making it a little bit more for kids in the 90s, was Mavis Beacon Teaches Typing. Like they were
I've
typing
heard of it.
games. Oh, I used to be able to type like how they wanted you to type by learning, your hand placement.
Like the QWERTYs.
Yeah. But like those four games were my first picks every time we got into the computer lab. Absolutely loved them.
We had one that was educational. Well, we had two, I guess, because I didn't play them as much at school as like my parents wanted us to have, like, if you're going to play computer games, you're going to play the educational stuff. So like, obviously Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego. So
yeah, that was also on my list.
Geography.
Tore it up.
And then Midnight Rescue. I don't know if
that's the one I was thinking of. Midnight Rescue
with that one.
It was like the little robots. Yeah, you had to try and like.
I didn't like the robots because they scared me. They jumped out of nowhere, and I was like, anxious little me was. Like,
I didn't do scary things when I was little. Like I was like, no, thank you.
So like you had to go in and out of rooms to try and get clues of like basically a whodunit. Who was the person, and you're trying to like process of elimination. Like, oh, I don't really remember the game completely. I just remember the theme song. And
you like,
You just walk into a room and there would be like
down, and there'd be like this weird machine computer monster thing, and you would have to solve the math problem. But yeah, I never liked this. Is like the lamest jump scare ever. It's like the math monster.
So good,
but really, now I'm thinking about the math monster. Like my aversion to math might have started.
Look, trauma is real. I get it. Would we consider Oregon Trail an educational game? Because like I know it
was a game that we played in the 90s, so yeah, I would say so.
I played it in school in computer class. So
I do.
And
I
Amazon.
learned what dysentery was.
Always died of dysentery or cholera. One of those two.
You had to fight for like the fun games, like the Number Munchers, the Math Blaster, Amazon or Oregon Trail, but nobody ever wanted to play Amazon Trail. Did you ever play that one? So instead, you were in the Amazon, like in the rainforest. Many things
you can super die from in the Amazon.
Exactly. You were on a raft going down, and you had to be careful you didn't fall off and drown. You had to be careful for like poisonous snakes.
Fording the river in Oregon Trail was always my nightmare. I was like, I'm gonna lose at least one human being. I can't imagine being on a raft in the Amazon.
Oh man,
it was similar. It was not as fun to me, but like. I kind of dug it. Like if I couldn't get an Oregon Trail computer, I was like, whatever, Amazon's not as bad, but like I really want to kill off like a bunch of people and
I need to know what my job is once I get to this next city. You know, I need to round up the wagon so we can debrief what happened.
Oh man.
I don't 100% remember the game because it was middle school and I'm old. But I'm old. I had to fill out something today and it was like, how old are you? And I was like, how old am I?
Yeah. I've gotten to that point too where I have to think about it and I'm like, no, I can't be that old where I need to think about it.
This year is a significant one. As we were talking about pre-filming, Heather and I both have birthdays coming up and this is my 35, so I'm just like,
bless your heart.
I know.
I'm turning 41 this year.
Hey, I would never have guessed. But also
I thought you were younger than me.
Yeah.
I'm old.
Gonna be 39.
Look,
so.
I fully believe that getting older is actually fun. Like
I wouldn't go back to like my 30s or my 20s. Absolutely not my 20s. Maybe my 30s. Definitely not my teen years. Screw that, man.
No.
But yeah, like starting to hit that age and I'm like, oh God, am I really? Like, wasn't I just, 23?
I feel like it was just yesterday. I remember my 30s.
We don't look our ages, so
we don't.
Awesome. Carded for life.
Fine wine. But I feel like the Amazon Trail was a little bit different because it's probably problematic now because I feel like there was like
a lot of problematic games.
Probably.
like the head shrinkers, or you could get shot with like a poison dart from something. You'd stop and do trading
kind of
trading on indigenous people since day one.
It was now that I think about it, I'm like, that was not okay.
No. God.
Let's see. My computer game, the more I think about it, the weirder it is. Did you guys ever play the Secret Island of Dr. Quandary?
I've heard of it.
So it's kind of like a puzzle game, but like I'm trying to, even thinking about the plot of it, I'm just like, this is a fever dream. So you start out in a carnival.
Most 90s things are just absolute fever dreams.
It's true. So you start out like in a carnival setting and you do like the shooting the moving target things and you win a prize at the end. And you get to choose like what doll you win. Only like this wizard guy is in charge of the carnival and like whatever doll you choose, you turn into the doll and then you wind up on this island somehow. And in order to get off the island, you have to solve all of these riddles and math problems and logic problems and pattern games. And I loved it as a kid, but like trying to explain like, yeah, you turn into this weird doll and then you're on a tropical island and a wizard and a dinosaur. Wait a minute. So it's just like somebody was having a really good time with some really cool substances when they came up with that game.
I mean, it looks cool / wild.
There's
at the
like
same
an
time.
anthropomorphic saxophone thing. Like
Look,
it's like it's some Alice in Wonderland type stuff going on.
yeah, look,
Um,
I think most of the games in the 90s, if they weren't like a board game, if it was a computer video game, they're just like, let's just go for it. Like
yeah.
there was not a lot to compare them to, so they're just like, let's sure, why not? Let's go.
Yeah. We had one that only recently, like my niece is 7 now, and there was a game that my sisters were obsessed with. Putt Putt Saves the Zoo.
I've
It was
heard of
like a
it.
little
Not
car,
familiar.
and his name was Putt Putt, and he went to the zoo, and the animals were loose, and like they're baby animals, and you had to try and find them, and they're stuck somewhere because of like, I don't know, a tree log fell down and it can't get back to its mom. So you have to, okay, in order to move
Oh.
that tree log, I need a rope. Well, the rope you have to find it somewhere in the zoo, and so you have to like get to other parts of the zoo to find it. So like you would have to find like a shovel, a rope, just weird little things like that. And like you would move that tree log, and then that tree log goes in your inventory, and you use that when you find the rope to make a raft so you can get this animal back to its mother. And there was
I
also another
love
one like
that.
Hut Pets in Space or something like that.
The one
Anything
I
in
saw on
space
the list
sold.
today was Putt Putt Travels Through
Through
Time.
time. That's it. We only ever played Putt Putt Saves the Zoo, but now they're all on the Nintendo Switch.
That's what I just saw.
Ooh.
We have a
And
Switch. I may have to get
it's
those.
cute. My
Why
niece
does
loves it.
why does Putt Putt look like he could be in the same world as Brave Little Toaster?
It's very Brave Little Toaster art-esque.
And it was
Yeah.
the same like group that did like it was like Freddy the Fish or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
I
Okay.
never played that, but it was the same
Oh,
grouping.
yep. Yep, there he is. Those big eyes, like the
Hmm.
big, almost Disney-like cutesy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there he
it was
is.
that was my sister's favorite. And I think at one point in time she had like her before I think it was before they were married. He like found the game for her so that she could play it on the computer
I
again.
love
Huh.
it.
So
You
good
can
time.
download so many emulators and stuff now to play like these old school video
I
games.
love
So
it.
cool.
One of the other ones we played at school that was not it was not educational, but our one of my band directors doubled as the like computer science teacher in
Hmm.
middle school, which is a little past the 90s, but it was a 90s game that we played. We played Worms Armageddon.
I heard
What
of
is
it.
that?
Have you never played the Worms games? Oh my God. It was
No.
like the
Oh
beginning.
my
It
God.
was
The
like the
artwork.
beginning of like the MMORPGs. Like I will argue that it is everybody could log on because everyone's on their own computer
Oh
and you all had a
no.
worm and you were all just trying to kill each other. Like it
Oh
was
Wow.
they're so
no.
ridiculous. There have been so many versions of it, but it was a
Wow.
Oh
staple.
wow.
Yeah, I loved it. Shout out Mr. Trone, Plaza
That's
Park,
wild
middle
looking.
school. Like, oh man, we played that and a later version of Wolfenstein. I know one of the originals
Hmm.
kind of came out in the 90s, but yeah, these were games we should definitely not have been playing in middle school, but we did.
Probably not.
Are
But we
we
did.
are we just talking about computer games or like any video games or board games
Any
or
video, board games, whatever. I have
cool?
one more computer game and then I am on to other ones. So,
Yeah, no, go for it.
this one is very important to me. It is actually how I bonded with my now roommate, and how we ended up moving to Pittsburgh together. The Nancy Drew games. The first one came out toward the tail end of the 90s. Those games are my everything. I have started trying to play back through all of them because the newest
Oh.
one was released this year. They are still making them. They are
Wow.
Wow.
ridiculous, and I love them. Cannot recommend them enough if you just want to disassociate for a bit and go pretend to be Nancy Drew.
Okay. Yeah. Heck
Highly
Who
yes.
doesn't love
recommend.
disassociation?
Hey, I love a good
I mean,
disassociation.
I don't know if I love it, but like it just happens
It
all the
has to
time.
happen.
It's my life.
If I don't, it's not going to be a good day if I don't disassociate at least a couple times. But that is all my computer games. So someone hop in with our next genre of games.
I'm gonna go with let's sort of take a little turn into like standalone handheld games for a
Oh,
minute.
okay.
Ooh.
So not like Game Boy even, but like remember Tiger Electronics had those like just one like Little Mermaid, the
Yeah.
game,
Oh,
and that
I
was
know
it. And
I
it was an
like,
had
Aladdin one.
Snow White
hmm
and I had Aladdin and I think I had a Lion King.
okay, I had Little Mermaid and Beauty and the Beast. Between the three of us, I think we probably had the
We
entire
have all
collection.
of them.
Uh,
I don't think I had it, but someone else had it. And I remember playing it all the time, like the Aladdin one. Because
Yeah,
I
it
don't think we had it.
they were
But I remember
so
sucking it up
different.
every time I had it. Like,
Yeah, because it was like it wasn't like for those of you who never played these, like it was the best way I can describe it. It was uh, the idea of a Game Boy before Game Boys were a thing, but it wasn't like a computer generated like
so
screen. It was almost like a watch screen.
yeah,
yeah, there was
like
like the
like the Tamagotchi kind of style,
like
like
a
Yeah,
back,
that,
yeah, like a background, like a stationary background, and then it was like the
like
black
the black.
pixels
it
Yeah,
was just
would move, and you would kind of like instead of walking even like across, it's kind of like original Nintendo style pixelated even more, where like
yeah,
the little legs would just kind of move a little
in
bit, and
place.
yeah.
the everything else would, yeah.
The Snow White game, I always lost when you had to try and stop her, the evil hag, from trying to roll the boulder off of the like cliff.
Mm.
It somehow glitched on me every time, and I feel like I never actually completed the game.
I
Yeah,
forget what
right.
the last objective for the Beauty and the Beast one was, but I remember you had to like reach up and like jump and collect roses at one point. And for Little Mermaid, the end, you had to play as Prince Eric and like stab Ursula, like get the boat into
Look,
a specific position on the other side of the screen, and then you would stab her,
yeah,
and then you'd win the game.
yeah, those like going back and thinking about those, I'm like, oh man, like I was gaming from a very
Yes,
early age.
between
Because
yeah
those are like
Tamagotchis and stuff too. Like yeah.
Aladdin was like 1990,
Mhm.
the handheld game, from what I can tell. And you can still get it on
Really?
eBay for 18.99.
Hey, maybe we should start collecting them. We
I
can
think I
have
still have mine.
we
My
can have a
parents
party. I'm
probably still
pretty
have mine.
sure my Snow White one's still downstairs in my parents' house somewhere.
Similarly, I had like one of those Dear Diary ones, like where
Mm,
you like write in
Oh,
the
my
little.
sister had one and I totally wanted it because I was a writer and I was like,
yeah.
no, I want my
I
super
remember
secret digital diary.
like losing it all the time
Oh
somehow. And then
Or
I'd
when
like
they
find
made
it in
the
my sister's
like
drawer.
when they made the like toy like what now we would consider like a tablet, but it was like a weird early BlackBerry but for kids. And you could just
like a
like
Palm Pilot thing.
yeah, like you could just like type whatever you wanted into it. I carried that thing around with me all the time.
Feels super
Yeah,
sophisticated.
I was
Yeah.
a businesswoman. Thank you very much. I had
I have
very
things to do.
important
It's like,
meetings.
what's her name? Oh my gosh, Angelica's mom or something.
Oh,
Charlotte.
Charlotte.
Look, she was a girl boss before we knew what a girl boss was.
It's
She taught
true. It's
me how
true.
to
Always
be a girl boss.
Everything I
talking
know.
to Jonathan, ordering him around.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
Game Boys though.
Yeah.
I did not have the original. That was the one that I missed out on because that was before I had convinced my parents that yes, you should buy me gaming consoles because they were not they were really not computer people other than my mom at work. But I did get my Game Boy Color and
Mm.
my purple Game Boy Color, and the one game I asked for was Pokemon Pinball, and I played hours of it. My favorite.
I recently found my Game Boy. It was a Game Boy. I don't know if it's called Game Boy Mini, but it was one of the thin ones. It was
Oh
like the Game
yeah,
Boy, the blue ice one.
yeah.
I
See
found that, and
through.
I found my Pokemon Red and Blue. One of them was my sister's, I forget, but I just found both games, and I was playing it, and when you go to like the Pokestops and stuff, it's like you can use your connecting cable to connect with
Yeah,
somebody
you
else, and
could
I'm like,
connect with your friends,
these tiny little cables. I'm like,
but you
oh
can't get very far
no.
away, so you got to sit
Yeah, you gotta
right
stay right
next to
next to
each
each
other.
other.
How awkward.
Or
Oh
like
man.
and the screens weren't lit. So you had to buy the plug-in little lights that would
Yeah.
shine, like it was like a tiny little book
It's a
light, but it would
flashlight.
shine just on your screen and it plugged into the thing so it used battery while you were trying to play your game.
Those things, the Game Boy, original Game Boys, I swear they took like six big honking
Yeah,
batteries.
like
Like they
huge
ate
battery.
batteries.
Oh, we
Oh,
never had like any like our first gaming console was N64. I mean, before that, my mom's like, your dad has an Atari, you can play that. Like we so like I
Mom,
was
that
just
is
playing like
not the same.
Pong and like Duck Hunt.
hmm.
Because
Our
my
first was the
mom
N64.
loved a lot of Atari type games. I had when we got our computer for the first time, which I thought we were so cool because we had our gateway Windows desktop computer. She bought the like CD-ROM of all the Atari games. So like I used to love
Mm.
playing Asteroids and Space
Hmm.
Invaders and Mrs. Pac-Man and loved
What
it.
what was that game? Was it just called like downhill skiing? Do you remember the one with
Yeah,
like you would literally just
Oh,
downhill
I
ski
was
and
so
then
bad at
there's a
it.
dog that would like come and like go to the bathroom occasionally and walk away and then
Yeah.
like the abominable snowman would eat you.
And you had to not hit trees. I was
Yeah.
really bad at not hitting trees.
Same.
Uh,
Oh, same, same.
I talked my mom into letting me have a PlayStation because I had friends
Oh.
who had the like Nintendo line of things, so I would get to play those games at their house. Um, but I loved Banjo-Kazooie as a kid.
hmm.
I like that one too. I couldn't get very far in it. I don't think I got past the swamp
No, I
level.
was really bad at it. I'm
Manny
still
had
not
it.
good at games.
Yeah, Manny had Banjo-Kazooie, and that was the first time I ever played it, like on his PlayStation when we had first met. And I was like, I just got so mad. Like I was like, can't play this.
Like
I hate it.
going going back and playing old video games, I'm like, oh no, they just wanted us to lose. Like
Yeah.
you had to spend your entire life sitting in front of that game to be able to do well at it.
So we started with N64, and I think we only owned a few games, and then we would like Blockbuster rent other
Hmm.
Hmm.
games.
Every Friday we got to go
Hmm.
to a movie rental place and I got a couple movies and a game.
Hmm.
Loved it.
N64, I remember having, or N64, Super Mario 64. I remember having like, we went on the internet and we printed out like all the instructions on
Yeah.
how to find
Oh
all the
yeah.
stars, all the coins. And we would be like going through them and like, tell me what I have to do next. Like my
Yeah, going
sisters
through
and I.
I always had the walkthroughs printed
Hmm.
out on the like sitting next
Yeah.
to me.
Can't do that kind of stuff now. But
Or
Mm.
got
They
to
used to have
talk about you had to do the like memory cards, like the cartridge
yes.
memory cards to save
Yes.
all your games. And I
yes,
had them like color coded and labeled.
so funny.
Oh man, I played. We had an original Nintendo when I was growing up, and I don't think I ever beat any game. Like there was, the Duck Hunt Mario that
Yeah.
I played forever and ever. But the first game I remember having where you could save your progress was
Yeah.
Kirby,
Mm-hmm.
because Kirby had
Okay, yeah.
so many levels. But you think about it, Kirby is just a weird concept. Like you inhale things and then steal their
Sure.
powers.
Yeah. Kirby
But
was
I
a
think,
nightmare.
yeah, another
An
fever dream.
actual fever dream. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I thought it was cool because you could get so many powers and like play around with stuff like that. And I think that was the first game that I had help beating it. My mom's friend's son was like 5 years older than me. And I remember I was in like fourth grade or something, and he came over. I'm like, I can't beat the last boss, and he helped me. And I was like, yeah, you
Yeah.
beat the game.
I don't know how many times one of my friends would come over and I'm like, I
Help
can't play this
me.
game anymore. Please help
Yeah,
me beat this game.
yeah. And then I'd go over to my friends' houses, and they would have some like I never really had a lot of the combat like fight games, but
Yeah, I
whenever
didn't
I went to
either.
their places, I would play, and I would just button smash everything and not know
Hmm.
how the heck I did
I'm
whatever
still a
combo I
button
did.
masher.
Oh yeah. It's so much
Our
fun though, because like I wonder what
right?
this
Oh yeah.
does.
Mortal Kombat, you just keep just friggin' going, and it's
I
Yeah.
like,
felt
oh, I
so
killed you.
accomplished. Yeah, the only combat game we had was Goldeneye. Uh,
Oh, okay.
and I dominated my sisters. We had to have like rules because I mean, they're 6 years younger than me, 5 years younger than me. So they didn't, I would
You
use
were teaching them valuable life lessons.
like I was using proximity mines. I would mine up and then I would hide and then
Strategy.
come and get
Hey,
me. You see where I am, come get me.
you
And
were
then
making
just,
them a better gamer, and good for
so
you.
they were like, fine, slappers only,
Yeah,
We
my poor
mostly did
sister
racing.
is 11 years younger than I am, and I don't know how many times she'd be like, "Let's play like on the Wii," and I'm like, "Okay," and I just play the game, and
Dominate.
she'd get so mad because I'd win, and I'm like, Sorry, I don't want to lose. Like the
I'm
point
a
of playing
loser.
a game is to win," which is when I knew I had toxic competitiveness.
I mean, we mostly did like
No.
the racing type games. So like
Yeah.
Diddy
Mario Kart?
Kong, Mario Kart, Diddy
I
Kong.
loved Mario Kart. Shy Guy Beach is my map always and forever.
I
Mm.
thought we played Cruising USA and between like Mario Kart, Cruising USA, Diddy Kong Racing, I was like, I'm gonna dominate when I get behind a real car wheel. Like I am gonna be
Right?
so
I'm gonna
good.
be such a
I
You
good
am a
dodge all
driver.
great
those shells and bananas. Let me
I am
tell
a
you.
great driver. I stay in the lines. Now I am a good driver, but like it was definitely I really had like a false sense of
I thought it
security
was gonna
going
be a
into it.
lot more exciting being a
Mhm.
driver.
Yeah.
And now I'm just worried about people around me who are bad drivers.
Yes.
I mean, it is
Yes.
kind of the same. I
Yeah.
mean,
I
people are
mean it
always coming
is.
out of nowhere.
You never
Yeah.
know. I also played Sonic. I never beat it.
Mm.
I'd always get about 3/4 of the way through and never beat it. And then oh God, what was the other one I thought of? Oh, Spyro. I loved Spyro. And I
Oh.
think there was I don't know if it's a new Spyro game or a remastered Spyro game that just came out, which just unlocked my nostalgia. So I will be
Getting
tracking
that.
that down
Yeah.
and playing it because I loved Spyro the Dragon.
I always saw it, but I never played it.
Ugh,
Um,
I
in
loved
the
it.
wheelhouse of the podcast, my sisters had one that I don't remember if we rented it or if they had it. It was Rugrats Scavenger Hunt, Treasure Hunt.
Hmm.
So kind of like that Mario Party style, you're rolling the dice trying to get around the map to do stuff. I don't really remember much more than that, but I remember playing as like Phil and Lil or something like that. Like,
Yeah.
Hmm.
Look, Nickelodeon put out the best stuff. Like they put out the best games, the best shows,
We
the best everything.
Yeah, during one of the other podcast episodes, we were talking about the All Real Monsters game. I think
Oh
it was Super NES,
yeah.
where you could, depending on what needed to be done, like what obstacle there was, that you could either be Crumb, Ickis, or Oblina and sort of like rotate through them, and the other two would tag along. So if you needed to like swing across something, you could use Oblina as like a whip and a rope and
I
sort of
love
swing
it.
across. And then if you needed to like go up to a high shelf or something, you would become Ickis and he would grow and grab whatever. So like there was strategy involved, but it was
Yeah.
also like the Nickelodeon branding all over the place. So I didn't have that one, but my cousin did, and I remember trying to get the hang of it because it was like with every few feet, be like, who do I need to be now? Who do I need to switch out? And like
it's a
everything
lot
would
of
be happening
pressure.
around you. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
They wonder why I have problems with
Yeah,
like
why do I have
trusting people.
I fully admit that my anxiety started the first day that I was given the board game Perfection.
Yes.
I mean, yes. Yeah.
That is where my anxiety started.
Yeah.
Yes, I understand it's also hereditary and genetic and blah blah blah. But like that game was what introduced me to anxiety.
What is that
Yeah.
the one? Which
You had
one
to
was the one
put
where you
You
had
put
to
all
the
like,
the
shapes
little
in,
and
and
then it
shapes
then
in
popped
and
if
up?
you
it
didn't
would
do it
pop.
quickly enough, it
Yes.
would just explode in your face and you
Yeah.
would lose everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, every time.
Oh man. So, what other board games?
We were
I
a
mean,
huge board
we
game
were
We
family.
yeah, a
were
lot of board
too.
games. I loved Clue, any variation of Clue, Clue
That's
Always.
my
Junior,
mom's
whatever.
favorite. So anytime there was a new fun version of Clue, it was
Mm-hmm.
ours immediately. She started me on Clue Junior
Mm-hmm.
because I had to get the hang of it. So we would start with Clue Junior, and then I eventually upgraded to
Yeah.
original Clue.
And we grew
Yeah.
up playing Clue. Like my grandmother had it at their house. Like she had Clue, Boggle, and
Mm.
Oh,
Monopoly. So
Boggle.
we grew up
Mm.
playing those
Ooh.
like from the get-go. Like
Yeah.
we had one that was similar to Clue, and I remember the box. I was looking through like when I was like I almost said studying. Well, when I was studying for this, researching stuff, trying to remember like what I played, like relight the old flames in my
Yeah,
brain.
gotta bring back those memories.
I
Mm-hmm.
remember the box being like on top of like the game cabinet. I don't remember ever playing it. It was called 13 Dead End Drive. It seemed
I
Oh,
haven't heard of
Clue-esque,
that one.
but
I
I don't
vaguely
Okay.
remember. I
remember.
don't
Was
remember
it like
anything about it.
knockoff Clue?
It seemed like it. But it
Hey,
had like a board, like you had to build like the back of this house. I don't really remember anything about it, and I wanted to like research it, but I never got a chance to. So, I was hoping someone else would remember it, but
Yeah, I never
um,
now we're
played
gonna
it. I
figure it
remember
out.
the commercial, but I didn't really understand how to play. So, let's see. On your
oh,
turn,
it's a
move the queue of the
bluff
character
game.
pawns. Yeah. If you move your own game counter out of that house. Okay, so like you're in this house and you need to escape and be the last one surviving, I guess.
It had traps spaces, and you had to basically you found out who what your character was, and you had to conceal your identity
Hmm.
and bluff. Hmm. I don't remember it. So it was like a murder theme game.
Oh, nice. Look, I love a good murder themed anything.
I also like there was a Babysitters Club mystery board game that came out in like 94,
Oh,
95. That was kind of like
Oh,
Clue. But it was yeah, like you needed it was the motive, the person and the location, and you would go the board itself was a map of Stony Brook, so it had like all the babysitters'
nice.
houses and like labeled everything, and it was like
nice.
an extension of the
I love
Babysitters Club
it.
canon to be like, oh, that's what their house looks like, even though, whatever.
Look, we love art. We just had to imagine it.
Mhm.
Now there's all the fan art because the internet is wonderful and terrifying and awful all at once.
It's
Oh
everything
man.
and
It's
nothing.
everything you didn't know you wanted, nor is it anything you need.
But now you have it.
True.
But it's there. And I
True.
mean, we were in the early days of
Oh
unhinged
man.
internet access. I won't
Oh
talk about the things
no.
that we were exposed to, but
Oh, well, let's talk about it's not a well, it was a game, but anyone remember the purple monkey called Bonzi Buddy that was essentially a virus that you would download onto your computer?
yes. Yes.
No.
There were so many games that were really just a computer
Yeah, it was
virus.
like a Tamagotchi type little character that was it would be on your desktop computer and you could like make it say things and it was, cool and cute and whatever, but then inexplicably when we downloaded it on the computer crashed, and then we downloaded it on another school computer and that computer also crashed. And then we saw a pattern, we're like, maybe we shouldn't download Bonzi Buddy anymore.
Oh my.
Sorry, Mr. Flieger.
Sorry. It was just so
Sorry.
much fun.
It was so cute.
He knew we were doing it, but I don't think he knew what it actually was. When like later on I looked up, I'm like, oh yeah, no,
Oh,
that thing was malicious.
it was just malware.
It was pretty much just malware. Yeah, let's see what the
Um,
internet has to say about Bonzi Buddy
oh,
now.
did you guys we can cover this more in another episode, but did you guys do Neopets?
Yes,
No.
I had a question mark, like Neopets question mark. When was that? I wasn't sure if it was because I
It
thought it was
was
more 2000-y.
it was during the 90s because I remember playing it in elementary school with some of my friends, and my sixth grade year was
It
2001.
still exists. It's still like
It
active because
does.
I think I
I wish I
went into my
still knew
account.
my login. My poor Neopets.
They're starving. They just need an omelet.
They're starving. I need to
They would
spin the wheel, and I
they would
need
100% eat a rotten egg omelet at this
they
point.
would they would eat
Sorry,
it.
I just downloaded it. I
Go
mean,
for it.
Or not
Don't
download it.
download it.
I didn't download it.
Don't
I just
download
looked it up.
it.
I
It's
Googled it. I
malware.
Googled it. No, Bonzi Buddy was a freeware desktop virtual assistant. And then I'm like looking down here and it's like Bonzi Buddy was described as spyware and adware and discontinued after the company behind it faced lawsuits because of spyware and backdoor Trojans that collected users' information.
Hey, look,
Sorry,
we
Mr.
didn't
Fleer.
know. It was the internet was the Wild West. There were no
It really
rules.
was.
No
It
rules.
was. Oh man.
I saw things no child should see because I had unfiltered access to the internet.
But it would load like one line at a time, one row of pixels from the top down.
No. Do you remember when just regular websites wouldn't load? Like it would
Ugh.
load like text, a little
Yeah.
text at a time. If there was a picture, you might as well wait 20 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, back in the day, like we were talking about like AOL.com/Nick, like or keyword Nickelodeon or
yeah.
whatever. And I would go on like the show's
All
web
the
pages
Flash
and wait for
games.
it was like,
forever.
here's a few behind the scenes images that were like really bad resolution and they would load. Like it'd take
You're like,
15 minutes for
try and
for
refresh,
photos
try and
to
refresh.
load.
If there was a video, you just had to sit there for like 30 minutes while the like 2-minute video
Well, no,
loaded.
I mean,
And
no,
then-
because we had
For, like,
dial up and my mom would be like, I
45
need to use
seconds.
the phone.
Yeah.
And you're so excited. It's like just starting and then it immediately buffers. And you're
Yeah.
like, oh, cool.
Okay, cool.
They said
Great.
2 words.
Look, I learned patience and then I lost it immediately once I got fast internet.
Like this is it. Speaking of patience, Operation.
Oh, yes.
Oh.
I
Wow.
have a love-hate relationship with that game. In the same vein, a game that I loved, and sometimes I just got it out to put everything together and not actually play the game, Mousetrap.
Mousetrap. Knew you were gonna say it.
I would just build it and then set everything off because
Yeah.
why not?
We always had issues with the bathtub. Like I think it was
The
bathtub maybe?
and then the little trap would sometimes get hung on the pole and it wouldn't go all the way
Oh.
down.
You're like, I waited so long for this moment.
Thanks
and
for
at the very
Ruined
end,
it. Everything's ruined.
ruined at the very last second.
Pretty Princess was a big one for me.
Yes. Bless my dad for playing that game with
My dad
me.
would play it with me all the time.
I always wanted it. My friend had it, and I remember
Ugh.
like I very
It's
like
still in my mom's
distinctly
basement.
I remember
Yeah.
going to her house and sitting because our houses growing up were so we lived in like a plan that was like built at the same time. So our houses were exactly the same setup. And her bedroom and my bedroom were the same layout. And I
Love
remember
it.
sitting in front of her bedroom window, like playing Pretty Princess. And I always wanted to be the purple because it was my favorite
Me too.
color.
Me too.
Mm.
It's good. The good old days.
The good old days where all I had to
Yeah.
be concerned about is what color I was gonna be.
I always lost some of the little clippies that went to the earrings because like you would stick the
Yeah.
little dangly gem thing on there, but I would always lose the little clippies. So then we just kind of like, okay, well, here I have them. I'm not putting them on, but I have them in my possession.
Oh, was this in the 90s? I thought it was older than that. Hi Ho
What?
Cheerio. Did you guys play Hi Ho Cheerio?
I know it, but I never played it.
I love that game. It was just there was a spinner and you just made your way around and you collected these tiny little like plastic
Cherries.
cherries and put them in your basket. That should not have been made for kids. I could have died if I tried to put them in my mouth, but I loved that game.
On that note,
Hungry
was-
Hippos.
yes, those little balls, not safe for children.
No.
No. And they would always get lost
Absolutely not.
everywhere and make a whole bunch of noise when you were just trying to smack the
Yeah, I was just about actually smashing the like lever. I didn't really mind at the end if I caught enough. I was
Yeah.
just like,
This
how
is
fast
my
can I make it go?
right. We had Don't Spill the Beans, another one that was
Okay.
like
Mhm.
tiny, small. I have a funny / embarrassing story about Don't Spill the Beans. My family reminds me any chance they can of
Of
it.
course.
My sister was sick. I think I was trying to make her laugh. And the beans, they were just little plastic beans, like tiny beans. And I put one in my nose and I was
Oh
like, "Look."
no.
I just put it right at the edge here and I was like, look, it's a booger. And then if I laugh hard enough, I snort.
Mm-hmm.
Where am I
The
going
Same.
with
best of
this?
us do.
Yeah.
Snorted it in, and then, you try and get it, and it just kept going up further.
Oh no.
And my dad at the time was an EMT.
Oh,
So
thank God.
he was on he was on the ambulance that day with my parents' next door neighbor, Joe, and my mom
Oh.
had to call my
Oh
dad,
no.
and they brought the ambulance to the house. And I remember them getting these forceps and because it just kept going up higher and higher the more I
Mm.
tried to get it, and them having to dig it out and
Oh
do
my
keep
God.
it. And so
The trauma.
the joke is always like, Heather, don't spill the beans. And I'm like, oh,
No.
The trauma. They brought the ambulance.
anything for a laugh.
Well,
Look, it's the
it was
only reason I'm funny. It's the trauma.
yeah.
They were so tiny. Like now that would be like a major
Oh
no for
yeah,
like
absolutely
kids.
Yeah.
not.
They had a whole series. Was it like don't spill the beans, don't break the ice? Lots of don'ts. It's like
Don't wake daddy.
Don't wake daddy.
that
There
was
was
a
something
weird
about
one.
grandma
Which is a
too.
weird game. Like, let's just think about that for a minute. Like, Don't Wake Daddy was a weird game.
It
Am I the only
was.
one? Okay, I was
Was.
like, I can't be alone in this.
Well, wasn't there one about like don't wake grandma or something like that? There was something like grandma was in a chair and you had to I don't remember if you stacked stuff on her or you took things from her and you had to not wake her up. Or am I
I
making this
remember
up?
a stacking game. I don't remember if it was grandma themed. It could have been.
Hmm.
I don't remember a lot of things.
Don't wake grandma? Greedy granny. Is it greedy granny? That doesn't make sense.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Goliath, greedy. No.
Apparently
Whoa,
there's
what
a
is that?
Right?
No.
She
there
looks
was a
terrifying.
Don't Wake Grandpa computer game. That wasn't in the 90s though.
Hmm.
There was Grumpy Grandpa.
Mommy
He was
just supposed to be making something up.
he's in a chair. You had to flip the channel before Grandpa flips his lid. That's the tagline of the game.
There were so many weird board games. Or just like
Ants in your pants?
Ants in
Yes.
the
With that one.
Pants. There
One
was
of
Mr.
mine,
Bucket was a weird one.
yes.
There
One
was
of mine
yeah,
that I
Ralph's was a weird one.
loved and I asked for and my dad's family got me for Christmas because it was a gross game and my mom was like, absolutely not. Ooey Louie.
Oh my God, with the boogers?
Yeah, you had to pull the boogers out
Ew.
and you had to make sure you didn't get the one that was attached because then his
And his
brain
brain would
fly
pop
out of
out.
his head.
Ugh. No, I've never heard of
I
that.
loved that game. I'm pretty sure that's also still in my mom's basement.
You pull out a booger, be like, "What's this bean doing in
Yeah.
here?"
She's Heather.
Oh.
I'll bring that to
That's
our
so bad.
next podcast hangout. I'll bring Ooey Louie. You can't
Man.
Yes.
you can't lose. It'll be okay.
I had one that was and it's so in my brain. As soon as you said gamer, I was like, pizza party.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
loved that game. I always wanted to be mushroom. And my other sister wanted to be mushroom. So we fought over
Mushroom,
who was
pepperoni, pepper.
pepper and onion,
I think it was onion. Yes, yeah. I remember the little cartoon onion. Yeah.
Oh, so good. Loved it. We had
Wow.
Taboo because I loved that
Mm.
kind of trivia stuff. My mom hated that we had that game because of that buzzer.
Oh.
Took the buzzer because we'd be like "Eek, eek," when someone wasn't I didn't want to hear you talk anymore. You're bothering me, so I would just beep. So
And
she
then
would
the
take the
batteries,
buzzer.
when the batteries started going, it would
Yeah, make fun noises. Did you guys did you have any travel games? Like the mini versions of games?
Oh
yeah.
I don't
Guess
remember the ones I
who?
had. Yeah.
Guess Who was a good one.
I think I had a Connect 4 travel edition.
there was
It's,
one
in the
I
grand
forget.
scheme of things, is an awful idea.
Yeah, there was one that had like little fish that would their mouths would open and there were these little
Oh, you had to
magnetic fishing
catch the
poles and
fish.
you had to catch the fish. Yeah.
Yeah.
We
I
had that. It was
remember that
all travel
fishing, right?
sized.
Going fishing.
And the rods would always get, magnetized together and be like, no, get off of it. My sister and I
Trying
were
to
like,
pull them apart.
yeah.
Trying to remember of other like kind of on the roady type things. We always played,
Battleship.
yeah, Battleship, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Candyland, which is my niece's favorite still to this
Yes.
day. We have a giant
I have
version
it.
of it that's a
Love
blanket.
Candyland.
So you put the blanket on the floor and she makes Manny play it all the time. And Manny's like,
Justice for
Homecoming.
the Snow Queen. They did her dirty when they updated her art.
Hmm.
Justice.
The homecoming theme of my was it junior or senior year, I forget, was board games, and my class
that
had
would be
Candyland.
awesome.
So our
That.
float and our hallway was decorated as Candyland. There was
Yeah.
so much fake like the stuffing stuff, like teddy bear stuffing for like all the
Yeah.
clouds and the cotton candy, like so much spray paint, so much of that stuff just
So
like
many
dripping off this
chemicals,
thing.
so many
Yeah.
fumes.
That was so cool though. I remember doing like a trunk or treat one year and doing Candyland for that, just like using
Oh,
Hmm.
that's
pieces of
awesome.
paper going up to the car and like
See, now I'm looking up the art. How'd they do her dirty? What did they
They
do?
they made her ridiculous. I think they turned her into a princess from a queen, and then like she didn't have her like giant ball gown.
Oh.
fall down. Sorry.
Ball gown.
That was my
Yeah.
wicked moment. Um, yeah, I
Froat?
Froat.
Yeah,
Froat?
essentially
Frock coat?
she
Froat?
Oh, yes, yes.
used to be in this like big like ball gown that looked like
Oh,
it
yeah.
had snow on it, and she had her big like scepter that had the giant snowflake on it, and then she was Queen
Yes.
Frostine, and then they redid
Yes.
her in this like pink dress with a little cape, and like she's ice skating like
Oh,
Oh yeah. I
I
mean, come
see.
Justice.
on. Queen Frostine, you are just
She was goals as a
Yes.
child, and then they just they did her dirty, and I don't appreciate it. Yeah, they turned her into Princess
Princess
See,
Frosty.
I liked Princess
uh,
Lolly. I don't
Princess
know.
Lolly was great. But like they downgraded her from queen to princess. And I'm like,
No.
how
here she's like a
dare
brat.
you?
She's like a Bratz
Bratz doll.
doll.
Yeah.
No. Give me the
Oh, yeah,
original
no.
1980s art.
She was the queen of an entire nation.
Okay, representation here though. Whoop.
I
I
do
can dig
appreciate
that.
that. I do
Mhm.
appreciate that. She looks like
Yep.
chocolate, and I love it. But yeah, justice for Queen Frostine.
What's
Uh,
another one? Shoots and ladders.
Oh, yeah.
we were not a Shoots and Ladders household, and I don't know why.
I know that
I'll have to ask my mom.
it made my niece very angry when she played Shoots and ladders. She's like, why can't I just walk up the slide? And I'm like, because does your mommy let you walk up the slide? She's like, no. And I was like, well, because slides are for going down.
You go down slides.
She goes, well, you can go down ladders too. Yes,
You
you
can.
are
That
right.
is technically
Yeah.
correct, which
But
is
You
there
are
was
the
right.
always
best kind of correct.
yeah. There was the big long tall ladder and the big long slide, and like you get either one of those, and it was just game over.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the other ones? When did
Oh,
catchphrase
Trouble.
start? I did love Trouble and
We just like
Sorry.
would pop the thing in the middle. It's another noisemaker thing where you wouldn't actually
Yeah.
play. You would just be like "Ba-da, ba-da, ba-da, ba-da,"
Bum, bum,
all
bum,
the
bum,
time.
bum.
Yeah.
I loved playing Sorry. My mom and I always played Sorry.
I
Yeah. That
never
was a
played
cheeky
Sorry.
game. We would like flick the pieces across and be like,
Yeah.
sorry.
Be like, Sorry.
Well, I remember the commercial was like, you get me, I'll get you back, was
Yeah.
one of the taglines.
It was teaching us to be
revenge.
toxically competitive. Look, I am a product of my generation, okay?
Yeah.
I was
Anxious and
taught
competitive. Yeah.
that I needed to beat everyone all the time and need to be really anxious about it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, God,
Um,
same.
When did catchphrase come out? Was that 2000s?
Ooh,
Because
good
I
I
don't know.
ate up some catchphrase.
Let's see.
Is that the electronic version?
I know the electronic version was definitely in the 2000s. Oh, okay. So it came out in 1994. Oh, you didn't need to say 30 years ago after that. Thank
No.
Thanks.
Why?
That was just the timer and like I think cards. Oh no, it was
Oh,
the disc. It was like
Mm.
the disc you had to spin.
I
Um,
remember that
Oh.
now.
but once it got to the digital thing, I took that thing with me everywhere. I was fun at parties. I had catchphrase in my purse.
Nice.
What about oh, Simon's the
Oh.
Oh God, bop it.
Wow.
Bop It.
Oh.
Yes.
Bop it. How could I not remember bop it?
Oh my God.
Oh man.
That was also a weird one.
And it just got weirder. Like it was
Yeah.
originally weird, and then they were like, we're gonna double, triple,
It.
quadruple
You double
down on
down on
this.
Twist it.
Pull it. Pull it. Pull it. Don't
Spin
stop.
it.
You're making me uncomfortable.
I'm like, "Ew,
Stop
I don't
pulling
want
it.
to anymore. Stop
No.
telling me
It's
that."
not fun anymore.
No.
Did you guys have girl talk?
I wanted it.
Did not have it.
I
Girl
had a
talk?
friend who had girl talk and I loved it. Oh, hold on. Oh God, what was
Dream
it?
phone.
I always wanted it
Me
too.
too. And Mall
Um,
Madness.
I
Those
had
are the
Mall
three.
My
Madness.
friend had
That's
Mall
what it was.
Madness.
I loved Mall Madness, and my mom, bless her, played it with me all the time. Oh, that unlocked.
I was talking about like that we were going to be talking about this, and I was talking with one of my coworkers, and he was saying that his sister made him play it with him all the time.
As she should.
And for the longest time, it was the one thing, it was like, sorry, there's a line, better luck next time.
Yeah.
And so like they would say that to each other all the time, like, sorry, there's a line, better luck next time.
I loved it because I got to pretend that I had credit cards and I got to
Right.
scan it. Oh, loved it.
And you didn't have to pay the bill. And now
Right?
reality.
Free money. I was misled.
We really, had a false sense of security. And
Yeah. I thought I was going to have all the money I needed when I got older.
I thought I would always have credit cards. I would,
Stop.
Monopoly, I just go to the bank and I
You
ask
go to
for
the
more
bank and
money
get
and I
money.
get it.
That's
And
where the
then
money comes from.
it's really easy to drive because of those driving games.
And I
Yeah.
had so many jobs in so many games. It should have been
Life. All I have to do is
Right?
just like
Life.
get married, have some kids.
it's so
Wow.
easy. Look, I took the college path. Look, I
Look, it was so easy. I only did it in like 3 spins.
right.
Oh, we were lied to.
It was all lies. And
The
for those of
90s.
you who got mad about our participation trophies, who invented the participation trophies and gave it to us?
Exactly.
I wish I got a gold star for participating in daily life. I guess I could buy my own gold stars, but I feel like that defeats the purpose.
No, because you're validating yourself.
Yeah,
You give
we should
yourself
just-
stars.
That's fair.
We should buy stars and send them to each other.
Start sending stars to each other, be like, hey, you got through this week. Here's your
Yeah.
star.
I actually have a post-it note like thing that I got. There's like a local artist who does stickers and stuff like that. It's called Chubble Gum,
Oh my
and
goodness.
love it. I'll have to send you guys stuff.
Yes,
But
please.
I have one post-it note pack that it's a big star and it says, "You did a thing."
My favorite is the memes of like ribbons and things, and it's
Yeah.
like, you did it and only cried once.
Yeah, you put on pants today.
You got out of bed and you didn't have to. Good for you.
Surprisingly, some days, that's
Some
Look,
days.
it's an accomplishment.
Some
It
days.
is. I'm here, so that's the
Hey.
closest I was gonna get to
Look.
anything today.
I participated at my job today the minimal amount, and that's all that matters.
I showed up.
Yeah, I showed up. There you go. What more do you want from me? I'm trying to think. I know it's dumb, but like the pinball game on like the loaded pinball game on computers.
Oh, no, that's
The like
fun.
yeah, the
Oh,
space themed one.
yeah.
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah.
Did you guys play polar bowling?
No.
Where
What
you
was
were all
that?
polar bears and did you bowl
No.
penguins maybe? Hold on. That may also just be a fever
Like the
dream.
pinball one, Solitaire is a classic, and then Minesweeper I never knew how to play, but I would
I
just click
never
around
figured that
anyhow.
out. Yeah,
I just clicked
Yeah.
forever. Solitaire. Ugh.
I loved
Oh,
solitaire.
okay. No, I'm only semi remembering the fever dream. It was a full-blown fever dream. So you were a polar bear in an inner tube on a bowling rink that was ice, and you would shoot yourself
Oh.
down the lane. But there was also a penguin version where you could play a penguin instead of a polar bear.
Huh.
I'm glad I
Huh.
had to fix that fever dream.
Do you remember those little like handheld things that was like filled with water and you would
Yeah,
like
you had to
push
like
the buttons and you
use
do like
the air to try and get them on.
Yeah, like
Or
the
like when you
rings
went to
on the
like
Taco
Burger
Bell,
King or Taco Bell and you like were trying with the
the
coins to like get
coin.
it to
yeah.
float down.
Come on, man, I need a new
Never did it,
taco.
right? Give me a free drink.
What were they,
Um,
waterfalls? Was that what they were called?
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Waterfalls?
You can actually get one on Amazon for $15.
Oh, I'm gonna shop for
Oh
my
God.
childhood on Amazon now.
What was the one? I don't know if it was necessarily a game. I think it might technically be considered a toy, but like the creepy crawlies were like you it was it like a gelatin thing?
Yeah, the creepy
Like
crawlers.
Oh,
You
and
would
then
put
you like
them in.
yeah.
baked it?
It was
Yeah,
yeah, it
it
was
was
like
like
the
easy bake
dude
oven
version
for
of the Easy
boys.
Bake. Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
loved creepy crawlers
Me
though.
too. I loved it. I'm trying to think what other things were staples.
Man, we had a lot of high
Yeah, we
points.
did. I may have exhausted my list.
Yeah. Oh, one thing that we didn't say was Jumanji. Like when the movie came out, then they like re-released
Yeah,
the
Oh,
the
board
board
game.
game.
I'm so sorry. I forgot maybe the most important game of my childhood, Mancala.
Oh my gosh, with
Yes.
I
the little
almost
bead
forgot.
things.
Yes, we
Oh,
even had Mancala boards in my like classrooms at school.
yeah.
Like the Mancala craze was
In fourth grade,
everywhere.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
Oh
didn't play that
man.
until like years later. My roommate was like, "Hey, you want to play Mancala?" And I was like, "I'm sorry, do what? Do
I loved that game.
We had like
what?"
they're the colored glass beads that you like sort of
Yeah.
put in the bottom of fish tanks sometimes.
Yes.
Like those
Yes.
little
Yes.
pebbly
You find
things.
them in floral arrangements.
Yes,
They were
exactly.
like, how can we make these profitable? Let's make a game. Oh yeah. Oh, I can't believe I almost forgot that.
What about, or was this the 80s? Pogs.
That was the 90s.
I
I
loved
still have
Pogs.
some.
I never actually played with Pogs.
Oh, I played.
I was a collector kid. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, this is something that I can collect multiples of. Yes, please give me
Mm-hmm.
those.
Hmm. That was so
Oh,
much fun.
I never got into it, but I remember all the commercials. The Beyblades, the like
Oh
pop
yeah.
things, and you
Oh,
would just like rip them at the other one, and whoever knocked
yeah.
each other out.
I didn't understand those, but I heard of them.
I
It's
have
kind of like
friends who played.
Crossfire, right?
Yeah,
In
yeah.
a way, maybe.
But I guess that would be
Um,
around the same time the like Pokemon.
yeah.
Like I didn't collect.
Mm-hmm.
My family
Again,
has
I
still all
didn't
of
play
his.
with them. I collected them.
Well,
Right.
I
if I
had
played with them, they were never for keeps. It was like, these are mine. We can play, but I am going to get all of mine back at the end. Yes? Okay, now
all
we can
of the
play.
guys.
Then let's
Disclaimer.
go.
Yeah, all of the guys growing up loved me because I just wanted the ones that I thought were cute.
Mm.
So I was like, great, I will take all of your cute ones, and here's the ones that I don't like. There you go.
How many Jigglypuffs do you want to trade for a Charizard?
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
they got banned in my Catholic
Yep.
school. They finally banned them, and they were like, you cannot bring your Pokemon cards to school
Oh
anymore.
They
wow.
did that with us too because it was considered gambling.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess
I
so.
also, on the flip side of that, Beanie Babies had collector's cards, and I collected the
Mm.
crap out of those. I had binders full of cards. They're probably in my mom's basement. I like at this point I need to go down there and see if none of it's going to be worth anything, but you never know. All my Beanie Babies are down there too.
I thought of another one in the realm of like the Jenga type thing.
Hmm.
Well, first of all, Jenga, but
Jenga.
Kerplunk. You remember that with the
Yes.
little
Take the little
sticks?
sticks and the marbles would
Yes.
fall.
Hmm.
Um oh god, what was the one where you had to like build a tower? They looked kind of like Tinker Toys.
Wait.
Lincoln Logs and Tinker Toys are the
You had to like stack them, right?
Yeah.
Well, all I can think of is Barrel of Monkeys. I know that's not it.
No.
Yeah.
Well, we'll figure it out. Oh, did you guys ever play Cooties?
I never played
No.
it, but I remember the
I
box.
loved that game. You basically you had little monsters and they were cootie bugs and you like would you'd roll and that's how you like built your little cootie
Monsters.
bug. I loved it.
Light Bright.
I loved
Mm.
it.
I
Anything
loved.
that lit up, I owned.
Yes. Colorful LED lights.
I'd make pictures on it and the same picture would stay for weeks and like my mom's like, don't you want to change that? I'm like, no, it's great.
Mm-mm.
It's a decoration
Exactly what I wanted
This is
it to
now
be.
my nightlight.
now.
And then that just like unlocked Cat's Cradle. Like I was
Oh.
constantly doing like
I can still
Jacob's
like muscle
Ladder.
memory.
I was
Yeah.
a yo-yoer when I was little. I
Okay.
loved yo-yos. And I used to be able to make it do the like swinging like pendulum thing.
Mm-hmm. I just walked the dog and then
Yeah, that too.
that was about it.
Mhm.
Well, I think we have exhausted our lists.
Yeah,
I do
I'm
exist,
looking at
too.
mine.
I
Yeah,
am
that's it.
existing. Unfortunately, the horrors persist. Yes, so do I. But thank you so much for joining us for this episode of
Yes.
The Girls Room. Let us know what some of your favorite games were as a kid. I'm sure there were so many that we did not touch on. But let us know and join us next time where we will have Megan back and we will be talking about our music that we loved as kids. So until then, we will splat you later.
Bye.
Bye.
This episode was recorded at Splat Attack Studios in virtual home studios, though none in Florida.